A very warm welcome to everyone. And today for our industry expert lecture on proposals and startups, we have Mr. Satheesh Kumar sir with us. And he's a technology executive with over 2 decades of management and leadership expertise. And he is currently the general manager of Power Technology. He also has more than 6 years of experience in working in electric vehicle industry with various clients across the nation. And on behalf of Vellore Institute of Technology, it gives me immense pleasure to convey to you a heartfelt greeting, sir. And thank you for joining us on this lovely occasion. And we are happy to have you here with us today.
Hi there. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for introducing me. And it's my great pleasure to grab this opportunity and discuss with various points, whatever comes up from your mind. Please.
Absolutely, sir. So first of all, starting, could you tell us about your company and your background, sir?
Yeah, basically, I worked on the ships related to oil rigs, where we explore and drill for oil and gas. And I continue to work in this field up to 2016. Then I have winded up and I have started my own business. And we have launched Pvt.Ltd India Private Limited. That's our company name. And it was launched during 2017. And the idea of launching this company is to enter into the EV business. When I say EV, it is electrical vehicles. And we wanted to do our part to this industry. And we very well had this idea in mind even before the launch. So we made some analysis. We took almost a year to study what is going around in Indian industry. So we have chosen mainly to concentrate on components which is needed to build a battery pack. So we are dealing with three components, mainly manufacturing and supplying. Those are all cell holders, nickel copper bus bars or strips, you can call it, and the battery enclosures. These are the main three components to make any lithium ion based cylindrical cell based battery enclosures or battery packs. So let me give you a small idea about what are all the cells available on lithium ion.
Sure, sir.
Okay, mainly we have three types of cells used in the industry. Those are all cylindrical cells, prismatic cells, and pouch cells. But our main concentration in this area is to support on the components related to cylindrical cells. Having said that, it is not that we don't support for the prismatic cells also. We do support. There we don't require the cell holders, only nickel strips are used. So we do support for the prismatic cell related packing industry also. So our supply, as I said, like our manufacturing and supply is related to lithium ion battery pack components. And our main concentration is towards EV, electrical vehicle industry. And of course, other industry like energy storage services, ESS, and solar sectors. Our main customer base is EV, mostly battery pack builders, and also some automobile companies to whom we are directly linked with.
Okay.
So we are in touch with tier 1, 2, 3, various level of customer base in India. And yes, we are doing good as of now. Though the COVID situation for the last 2 years, it has slowed down the phase for any industrialist. It did affected our growing pattern also, but we are picking up. We are there now.
Yeah, that's great to hear from you, sir. And thanks for this wonderful explanation about your company and your background. So
yeah, glad here too. Yeah.
In many parts of the world today, startups have gotten a lot of attention in the recent years. So, in fact, startups are increasingly being recognized as vital engines for employment creation and growth. And you may also have come across a lot of startups. And could you tell us about the biggest reason why some startups succeed?
Okay, that's a good point to start with. Since you are interested in asking about startups and how they are getting succeeded, let me add to it there, and it's not on a negative thought. And why do they fail also?
Yeah,
Let
sure.
let let us yeah let us talk about
We must take the
both the
pros and
advantages.
cons. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah, let us talk about both the pros and cons of it. See, first of all, the startups to be modeled in such a way to make the world better place to live in. I see it in such a way. You know, main factors which need to be analyzed and considered in case of startups is first the idea. First, it has to start from the idea. What you want to do, why you want to do, you know. Then what is your team? Who are all going to be in your team? Either it is you alone going to do it, or how much of your team members is going to get involved to play their part in your idea, you know. Then comes the business model, how you are going to set up the business and what is your business model and all. Of course, funding, the main part of it, the finance part of it, which need to be put into this startups. And most importantly, timing, when to launch such businesses. See, when you study the industry properly and you have done a good market analysis and requirements, where and when, if it is decided properly. When I say where, the place is the where, and when. When is the when you want to do it? Maybe this month of the year or next month of the year. So timing plays a main part for success, and of course, it do plays a spoil sport on failure also.
Yeah.
So when you choose the timing as an advantage to your startup ideas, you always have a yearly bad advantage. Means you are already there, which was in our case also. Of course, the industry was growing. When we launched our, setup startup company, there were not much players in around India. So now we have some renowned company name in the industry. So that is because we entered into this industry little early than other startups. So that early bad advantage, we had it with us. So yes, as I said, like timing plays a big role in success.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
failure, yeah, and failure too. So you have to first analyze the market, where you want to do, what you want to do, the idea behind it, and what is your financial support for it. Because most of the companies or startups, what they do, they pure, purely depend on the loans and other aspects, which is a good idea. But at the same time, you need to make sure it doesn't burn your hands at the end of the, any year, financial year. So you have to plan the financial part also properly and the business model.
Yeah. So it's very crucial to plan and execute smartly. I do agree with that. And
Yeah, correct.
sir, as your background is rightly now in electric vehicles, so how do you think is our industry in electric vehicles, especially in India?
Okay, well, actually, before going to how our industry in India is doing, especially on EVs, let's look at the main advantage why we can adapt. When we say we, any consumer, any people in India, why they should or can adapt to this EVs or switch over from the present ICE engine to EVs. First thing I would say, it is environment friendly. It is very environment friendly. There's no noise pollution. You can charge it 10 times faster. It has long life, 5 years on some companies, tier 1 companies are giving even 8 years warranty on the battery packs. Efficient 100% DOD. When I say DOD, it is depth of discharge, battery's efficiency. Flexible battery pack shapes. Any company can do their own design and battery pack shapes. Lower maintenance cost when compared to the ICE vehicles. Low capacity loss at a high temperature. 3 times higher the shelf life. To summarize this, it's very cost effective when you compare to a ICE vehicle.
Yeah.
Yes, it's very promising going forward with the technologies being fine-tuned now and then. And new developments are being happening with tier 1 companies, and of course, issues do crop up. Issues do crop up which is being addressed in a timely manner. So basically, an EV operates on an electric motor instead of an internal combustion engine and has a battery instead of a fuel tank. This is the basics. In general, EVs have low running costs as they have fewer moving parts when compared to an ICE engine. ICE engine, if you say, for example, it has 2,000 components in it to build and bring it as a whole as a vehicle, but EVs will have very seldom, like for example, 20-25 parts maximum. You can count it.
That's a huge difference.
That's a very huge difference on the component bulk. So with this huge difference of components, you have lesser headache using an electric vehicle. And also in India, if you compare the fuel cost of an EV to the ICE engine of any two-wheeler, or three-wheeler, or four-wheeler, the EV will cost you maybe 1 or 1.5 rupees per kilometer. Whereas if you run a petrol or a diesel vehicle, you will be spending around 7 to 8 rupees per kilometer. So that's a huge difference what you're going to gain when you own a EV vehicle and start using it. So also battery pack is the main component of any electric vehicle, and the battery pack building pricing. When you build a battery pack, it will cost you this much, right?
Yeah.
So this costing has come down almost 1/10 in last decade. Means in 2010 it was costing 10 times more than what it was costing now, and roughly I would say now it is costing around US dollars, maybe 130 or around that figure for a kilowatt hour battery pack. So any two-wheeler is around 2 to 2.2 kilowatt hours, and there are some lesser, range anxiety models also, which will have around 1 kilowatt or 1.5 kilowatt hours.
Okay, that's absolutely an eye-opener for me, and thank you for the information. And how do you think is the growth of electric vehicles in India, especially compared with other parts of the world, sir?
Okay, as I said, like when I use the word early bird in the other question which you asked, this early bird advantage when it comes to the electric vehicle adoption, China and US has taken a front run. They have already going in a very faster phase. So India, yes, last 5 years, things are in a positive way. We are approaching it in a positive way. and especially the sales have grown up in recent years. Of course, last 2 years there was some graph going up and down due to various factors involved like COVID and some raw material availability here in India. So yes, but still we are doing. The industry is doing its best, and for example, four-wheeler of top one company in India has grown 300% sales. So, and in India, mainly our market is divided into four, I would say. Okay, let us talk about buses later. It's like two-wheeler, three-wheeler, and four-wheeler. In two-wheeler, it is it's anybody's vehicle. Like on three-wheeler, there are two sectors. One is passenger cargo, and passenger and cargo. Three-wheeler. And in four-wheeler, mainly people use it for their own purposes. Again, there now a lot of transportation companies have come for their freight logistics supports also. So in India, two-wheeler and three-wheeler market is huge, and growth in this area is very phenomenal comparing to 4 to 5 years back. So those who had plans to go for first time buying now, there is an option also, whether what to choose. Choose an ICE vehicle or choose a EV. So, and also according to the figures I have come across somewhere provided by Ministry of Transport, there are almost 8.7 lakh registered electric vehicles last year. That was the figure. When I say registered vehicles, means the number will be there. There are some vehicles which have low speed, which has a which has a regulation that doesn't require registration also. So you can count. For example, any vehicle two-wheelers below 25 kilometer speed or 30 kilometer speed doesn't require registration also. So these all consolidation figures when you calculate, India is in a good track. India is in good track towards EV adoption.
So though the COVID pandemic has instilled some drawbacks in a variety of fields in this industry, we could see some improvements, and we could see the transition to ICE vehicles. And how do you see this, think is this transition from ICE vehicles to EV vehicles, sir?
Okay, that's again a very good point. How this transition is expected to happen in our country. Of course, it purely depends on people's mentality also. As I said, like in the previous point, it is it's environment friendly, first thing to make a note of. So if and India is such a country where a lot, if you see our population percentage, there is a lot of youngsters in our country now. So if it takes not much time like before for adapting to EV. Their mindset, if it changes very quickly, as I see how the youngsters take decisions nowadays. And mainly when considering ICE vehicles to EV vehicles, the main reason why you should get this transition will happen is lower maintenance cost and the running cost. These are the main factor which need to be considered. Your running cost is going to come down, as I said, with this given an example, how much it is going to cost per kilometer.
Yeah.
That gives a rough idea, like how much you are going to spend year on year, And also, since the components comes down in an electric vehicle comparatively to a ICE vehicle, that means that you are going to deal with 20-25 parts of a vehicle only. Whereas in ICE vehicles, there is so much of, components involved, and you will keep hearing this gone, that gone, wear and tear is there, so we need to change the spares. That is not going to happen in electric vehicles. So yes, so the transition from ICE to EV will happen for sure. And government is also focusing around 2030 is a target. At least some 5 to 10% of all vehicles in India will be switched over to EVs. So
Yeah.
yeah,
So the transition is going to happen, but the process may take some time, as we could see. And
yes,
how?
yes. Yes, actually, to add on to that same point, see, now we are not only considering about person to person whether he will switch over to ICE to EV, but corporate companies, a lot of corporate companies like Amazon, Swiggy, Zomato, IKEA, they are all deploying EVs for their deliveries.
Yeah.
Means they have already decided they need to buy only EVs to use as their transportation mode. And the car manufacturers like Mahindra, Ola, Tata Motors, they are all in collaboration with different other joint ventures with companies to make EV more ride-hailing services.
Okay. So how do you think people are seeing this transition, like, and they have to adapt to the new changes and method of charging compared with the traditional ICE vehicles, right? So how do you see that?
Yeah, as rightly asked, people are very keenly and watching it closely on the happenings with EV boom in India. Though our mindset even now calls to go for EV, but that's changing rapidly. First thing comes into your mind is go buy any ICE vehicles available out there. But that mindset is slowly changing because of a lot of younger generations, and of course the older generations who doesn't want to have high-speed vehicles to be used because they don't want to and they can't also. Considering our traffic conditions, anybody would like to, happily travel with 20-25 kilometer in a traffic metro city. So those are all the advantages. So adapting do take some time with pros and cons involved in this. Of course, now some fire accidents, let me do mention, because we are talking more of positives of EVs, adopting EVs. In recent times, if you could have seen in read articles or seen in channels, there are one or two incidents here and there coming about fire accidents happening with electrical vehicles, with studies still going on. Some have thrown their what they have found out, but some other studies are still going on because they hear the certifying body is also involved. Means government is also involved in it because they are also certifying the vehicle, also the batteries used in it. So yes, so fire accidents now, as I would rightly say, like it's little bit blown out of proportion by the channels, which I don't think is welcoming sign.
Yeah, I do
No,
agree with that.
yeah, there is a lot
Initially,
of ice vehicles which is catching fire, which is not reported or which is given less importance due to the reason like it's a common man's vehicle been used traditionally since so many decades. Since this is a new industry and somewhere, people are, very keen to say like, okay, EV caught fire. But it's a very lesser number of incidents happening. And that is also, I see a positive in it, like why that fire accident happened. A study is being done by the concerned companies or the pack builders, like, and they are attending to the issues. means nullifying the issues, why it is happening, what need to be done, where it need to be strengthened, how to avoid it. So it's a good sign that such small incidents happen. It will, it will help us to troubleshoot the things, and make things better for the consumer.
Yeah.
Of course, there are associated challenges involved on this transition also, like uh, lack of charging infrastructure. We are lacking a lot on charging infrastructure. Two-wheelers is okay. Bikes, any bikes can be charged at home. That is not an issue. But when you go out in long run, you go for a long distance drive, or a three-wheeler or a four-wheeler EVs. If you go for a long distance, then charging infrastructure is one area which need to be, uh, developed parallelly on a faster phase to have this transition to happen. And other challenges I would see is like slow charging. It takes more time to charge. So people are not ready to do it. When you're transiting from, say, for example, if you are on a ride on road for 300 kilometers, and if you want to stop at 150 kilometers and you want to charge, and if you want to wait there for 2-3 hours, that's a slow charging part of it. I don't think you will afford to do that. So this is one gray area which is getting attended to, and there are like fast chargers in the market coming up and being developed. This will attend all those issues, and almost like 5 to 10 minutes you'll be able to charge, and you are ready to go for another 150 kilometers.
Yeah.
And stable policy of EV production technological challenges. Stable policy for EV production and technological challenges, associated infrastructural support, clarity over AC, DC charging stations, range anxiety. If you buy a bike, first thing comes to mind, how far this will run. So adapting to EV vehicles, of course, there is some challenges involved.
Yeah, absolutely. Initially, without the challenges, we won't be able to develop and identify the issues with that, right? So,
Exactly.
of course, initially the stages might be, uh, you know, the challenges might occur.
Main problem is like, see, for example, in India, for this EV industry, battery pack is as I said, battery pack is the main component. So to build this battery pack, we have to depend on raw materials always from outside, means from other countries, because it is not available in India. So lack of raw materials availability, and that is a bigger hurdle for us, which every country is also attending to. So it should smoothen in long course. And there is a lot of lack of skilled workers also, because it's a growing industry and the people need to learn, adapt to this newer technologies in the market. And even, for example, an ICE vehicle mechanic or an mechanical engineer or mechanic need to adapt to the situation, change over to and learn this new evolving industry, so that he'll be multi-skilled to deal with both the vehicles. So for doing so, there are some dedicated training courses available, but that's not sufficient. More and more awareness and more better training courses has to be, seen as a needed further.
Yeah. So we can say that we need more skilled workers in this industry. And
Yeah, skilled workers is not going to happen in a day or two. So
yeah,
anybody has to learn this technology. They have to show their interest to get into it. Then comes the skilled workers. Of course, the advantage for the people already in ICE vehicles, automobile companies or automobile sectors who work there, they have a little upper hand, little added advantage to adapt to this newer technologies. Because
Okay.
a tire is a tire, right? Gear is a gear.
Yeah.
Only technology evolves, and of course, they are going to deal with lesser components when compared to ICE vehicles.
Yeah, we could see the difference in compared with ICE vehicles. And as students, what we should look in this industry? What do you think is the most important for us to look in this industry?
Uh, See, this industry is a very good sign for any student if he is really interested to enter into this field. But before that, he has to make, as I said in the earlier point, like his idea, whether it is whether matching his ambitions to enter into this industry.
Okay. So the best, so what do you think are the best ways to for students to get started in electric vehicle? Basically, they have to train and they have to learn the industry better.
Of course, indeed, they have to develop the skill-oriented, training courses related to this industry, online courses, learning the software is related to it, which is used in the automobile industry. And of course, LinkedIn contacts will be of much help to them, so that they fall in same page with other industrial expertise and can learn from them, discuss the points, then come out with some kind of experience from there. Though there are many players on tire levels already involved in this evolving new industry, but yes, there is always a bright scope in the form of employment, and as well as if anybody is interested to do a startup business.
Okay.
Charging infrastructure, see, not only when there are a lot of associated, uh, things they can approach or adapt to do as a business. That is, battery pack is one part, charging infrastructure is another part, DC-DC motors, converters, inverters, which is all main components of EVs. Charging infrastructure, when I say like they can even plan in the city or out of the city, in the highways, um, setting up charging infrastructures in malls, big apartments, now it has slowly, it has become a norm in Tamil Nadu and all. If you have more than 20 flats, as I have read somewhere, there need to be a charging station.
Oh,
Then only you will get a building approval. So these are all welcoming signs from government part also. Like they are also helping to push in ways of various schemes. The FAME is one, special renowned scheme which was been introduced 4-5 years back to the industry of EV. And recently there is one PLI scheme,
oh,
production linked scheme, incentive scheme. So these are all good signs. So yes, in EV industry, students can always look to which one to adopt. Like as I said, battery pack building, DC-DC motors, inverters, converters, even charging infrastructure, and battery recycling also. See, all these batteries, some days it will lose its life. Some days, some
yeah.
years after it will lose its life. So recycling industry is also good, very good sign. It will also gain traction and it will move forward. And EV bike pooling is one thing they can do. Like one company in Bangalore, bounce. They have been using ICE vehicle. They are also slowly switching over to EVs. So EV bike pooling they can do. And it is a multidisciplinary field which requires experts from different streams of engineering. And I would call mechatronics engineering is one such which is gaining traction for the youngsters now, and they can always do some analysis and take that course for their studies.
And talking about mechatronics, VAT also has a bachelor's degree in mechatronics and automation.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Sounds good. Yeah, I also had like VAT and yes, VAT and the top university colleges have started such upcoming courses like artificial intelligence, machine learning,
Yeah,
robotics. These are all the good area of upcoming courses which students can adopt, and they can choose as their career path and study.
yeah. That's really wonderful to hear from you, sir. And uh, you have given a valuable inputs, and we have learned a lot through the session. And thank you once again for your valuable inputs, sir. It was pleasure having you.
Yeah, same here too. In fact, this sort of interaction gives me to review and revive my knowledge also in this
Yeah,
industry, so that I can also keep track the questions coming up from younger minds like you people. Thanks for your time too.
yeah, thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Good day. Bye bye.
Good day, sir.